Two more cards to look at today. One crazy druid spell and a broomstick. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and to another card review for Scholomance Academy. Today we only have two cards, and these two cards were actually leaked on a Chinese B-roll video. So the name of this card and the card text might not be exactly correct. They're just loosely translated, so keep that in mind when looking at these cards. But yeah, we have two cards today, so let's just jump right into it and see what we have in store. Okay, so the first card that was leaked is the animated Broomstick. Once again, the name may not be correct. It is a 1-mana 1/1 though, Rush, and it has Battle Cry, give your other minions Rush. And it's a neutral card. I think this is a very interesting card because it's kind of like a Goblin Lackey, but it's, you know, for all of your minions. So you can play like multiple minions a turn, then play this card at the end of the turn and give all of those minions Rush, which can be very strong. This can be used as a pseudo board clear removal spell, kind of. It also is a 1/1 with Rush itself, so you can poke off some Divine Shields and stuff like that. But the issue with that is, you know, it's a removal spell, but you have to have other cards with it. You have to have other minions, so that makes it a little bit less reliable. And also, it's, you know, you have to put this into your deck. You have to play a 1-mana 1/1, you know, possibly two of those, and this card is terrible to play on turn 1. A 1-mana 1/1 Rush, there are just so many other better 1-drops. There's literally a Blazing Battle Mage, which is 1-mana 2/2, just literally double the stats, right? And yes, this has Rush, but you don't need the Rush on turn 1. So as a 1-drop, this is terrible. This is not really a 1-drop. You could possibly flex this into some turns, right? Maybe you're on turn 5 and you play 4-drop, and you play this alongside it, giving the 4-drop Rush and also having a 1/1 Rush as well to, as I said, pop Divine Shields or finish off some minions. But it's just not, it's not that useful. I don't see a deck that can actually use this card. Like, I'm trying to think what deck would really want to, you know, implement this card. I'm thinking maybe a Highlander deck. But Highlander deck, you know, you have a limited amount of cards. I don't think you want to be putting a 1-mana 1/1 in that if you top deck it in the late game, you know, it doesn't really do that much, right? Like, you need other cards to support it, so it's a little bit risky. It's a little bit awkward of a card to put into your deck, I feel like. Now, if you think about aggressive decks, like, do aggressive decks really want this card? Give your other minions Rush? Wouldn't they rather just play like a Blazing Battle Mage, for example, or a strong 1-drop that they have in their class? Like, because this is not really a 1-drop. So I'm really struggling to find a home for this card. I think this card is solid if you look at it on the, you know, in a vacuum, right? Goblin Lackey is great because, you know, it gives a minion Rush. But the nice thing about Goblin Lackey, it's generated. You don't have to put it into your deck. If Goblin Lackey was a card, would you actually play it in your deck? And I'm not sure you would, because you only can have 30 cards, and you don't really want to waste a card slot for something that is situational. So the animated Broomstick, I'm actually going to give this card a 4 out of 10. I think I just think it's too situational. I don't think it's good enough to see play in a tier 1 or tier 2 deck. Maybe in a tier 3 or tier 4. I think this will see experimentation, but ultimately I don't think this will be good enough. So yeah, 4 out of 10 from me. Okay, so the second card we have here is Natural Selection. Once again, the name may be incorrect. It's a 10-mana, you heard it right guys, 10-mana druid spell. This is a crazy card, if this is accurate. Give all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield +4/+4. So this is a hand buff card. It's a board buff card, and it's like a, you know, juiced up Keleseth in one go. It's insane. However, it costs 10 mana. So it's super slow. Like, it's only good if you have minions onto the board. Otherwise, it does nothing for your tempo. It's basically 10 mana do nothing. Unless you have minions onto the board already. Like, you have to already be winning the board. And then this obviously buffs them by +4/+4, but this is a very win more card in that sense, right? So, okay, like 10 mana, obviously that's way too expensive. Like, if you had to pay 10 mana for every time. But, however, we are in Druid. This is a Druid card. And Druid obviously has access to a lot of ramp. So, you could actually be playing this this card a lot earlier than 10, right? Like, it's 10 mana for you, but actually for your opponent, maybe it's 6 or 7 mana. So, you're actually playing it on turn 6 or turn 7. Now, is that good? You're still spending a whole turn on it. You can't do anything else apart from play Natural Selection. And obviously, the payoff is fantastic. Right? All your minions in hand will be buffed. All your minions in deck will be buffed. And if you have any minions on board, obviously, they'll be buffed as well. So this can have some template aspects, but it is so slow. And I don't really see a deck that can put this, you know, to good use. Because you ideally want a deck that doesn't have a lot of spells, right? make use of this effect. You want like a minion heavy deck, for example, maybe like an embiggen druid, right? And the problem with embiggen druid is, well, isn't it just better? You already have the card embiggen. Isn't it better just to play big minions turn after turn? Do you really want to take a turn off to play the setup card? You know, then buff your hand and buff your deck. Like, it's only good if you're ahead, right? This is a very win more card. Otherwise, like, can you actually afford to spend 10 mana to do nothing? All the aggressive decks are going to kill you, right? All the control decks can then, you know, develop a threat of its own, or develop their game plan a bit more. It's just the fact that it's 10 mana, it's just too expensive. I feel like it's way too slow. That being said, Kel'Thas is a card, and Kel'Thas reads the third spell you cast every turn costs 0. So if you could somehow get like Kel'Thas turn, and then be able to play natural selection, yeah, that could work. But the problem with that is, with Kel'Thas, you need a lot of spells, and this card is only good when you don't have that many spells. So there's a bit of anti-synergy there. It's again very awkward to play, like the other card that we just looked at in this video as well. It's a really strong card. Like, I think this card is better than the other one possibly, but it's still just so situational. I can't think of a deck currently that can make use of this card. Although I do think it will definitely like see experimentation, and eventually it might have a deck depending on what cards get printed. So because of that, I'm actually gonna give this a 6 out of 10. I think it's a cool card. It's a nicely designed card. I think it's gonna be difficult to find a deck for it, but eventually maybe somebody will, and maybe this card will be good. But for now, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. And that is going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed these 2 cards. A little bit of a shorter video, but only 2 cards to give you. Card reveal season will be coming next week, I believe. So look forward to that. I'm very excited to see all the remaining cards of this expansion. If you're enjoying this content thus far, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing card reviews for all the Scholomance Academy cards in, upcoming. So definitely subscribe, hit that like button, and comment below what you think about these 2 cards as well. With that being said, that's going to be it from me. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.